はい。もしもし、エミヤですけど。
Okay, Descado ups that bugs me immediately as soon as I start. Hey everybody, Renegade 67 and or 68 here with some more Let's Play Stream Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works Blindish. So last time we we talked to Saber and Rin left in a huff, and now Rin is our enemy before she becomes our frenemy. What? Right, the timeline telephone call. Maybe we missed it last timeline because we slept through it because we would have slept longer in theory because we would have been more dead. Whereas that time we were mostly dead. This timeline we were just, it's just a flesh wound as it were. I want to check something. I know that Kedo, that couldn't possibly be the meaning of meanings. But what if it's Kero? What if it's Kero? I'm just hearing Kedo because Ro can be sounding like Do. Last chance. I know Kero is what a frog sound makes. Kerori? Completely, entirely, nonchalantly, as if nothing happened? Oh. No, there's no toe particle, so it doesn't work. I don't know, maybe he's croaking. Maybe Shiro is croaking. Shiro's a frog. Kero, kero. Alright, whatever. Who cares what Shiro is? I don't care what Shiro is. Shut up, you care, I don't care. This is Emiya. Hi, this is Fujimura. Ellipses. I feel dizzy. She's the strongest in one regard. She simply discards all the chaotic events that happened since last night, and I feel like it's just a normal day. It's good to have people like that anchor you.
なんだよ。断っておくけど、俺は暇じゃないぞ、藤根。
Right. Sorry, but I'm busy right now, Fujine. You just want to focus. Other people might be more timid, and like someone like Sakura's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're busy, I'm so sorry. But, someone like Fujimura just cuts straight to the heart of it. It's nice. It's a nice anchoring energy. I'm busy too. I gave up my day off to teach my students. It sure is strange. I feel like Fujine is right in front of me, puffing with pride. Yeah, I could see the puff too. You can tell the puff is there.
そうか。なら世間話をしている場合じゃないな。こっちには火事も泥棒もサーカスも来てないから、安心して部活動に励んでくれ。
I see. Then I guess this isn't the time to be chit-chatting. Oh, you can tell the shift in Shiro's voice. It's it's more nonchalant now. He's accepted the nonchalant atmosphere. This isn't the time to be chit-chatting. There are no robbers or fires here. Robbers or fires? That's very specific, isn't it? Well, fire makes sense for you. Robber? You can rest assured and go back to your club. Robber? Are you saying that you were robbed as a child? Kiritsugu robbed you from your original the fire robbed you from the timeline of... You can rest assured and go back to your club. I try to cut off her conversation. Hold on, I'm calling you. It'll be terrible if you hang up without hearing me out. Well, I mean, it'll be terrible for our phone bill because my phone bill, your phone bill. No, I'm taking care of. You just call me again. So whoever is dealing with the phone bill, it would be bad. I've been in trouble since last night, but it won't do any good to tell her that. Unless she's one of the secret plot twist masters, I'm very doubtful of that. She seems like an anchoring tool that I don't think they would do that with narrative-wise, but if she does, then maybe she could, or she'd try to kill you. No. I guess she's in a little trouble right now. Yes, Shiro being the helpful type wants to help. Although unlike with Shinji where it's an unhealthy help, you could argue there's unhealthy help where an unhealthy person is asking you, and there's unhealthy help where someone who's healthy is asking you, but it's at an unhealthy time. However, I suppose it's not the worst for him to take the distraction. How off the rails Shiro would go if Taiga ever died? Taiga got kind of close to it in the Shinji pathway, and that sent him a little off the rails. At least for that pathway's purposes. That's when he really started to be like, I'm gonna fight people. So it clearly has an impact on him, but Shiro's a compassionate person. I feel like it'd be more than, like, yes, he'd get super sad about it, but I don't think she alone is necessarily the pivotal cog in the machine. I guess she's keeping him happy, but then Sakura's doing that too, but I guess Sakura's different, so maybe, I don't know. I feel like if it was first timeline, then it would be a bigger deal. I feel like if it was first timeline, it would be a bigger deal. But because it's second timeline, Shiro's more resolved, it would still affect him, but I don't think it would break him in the same way it might have broken him had it happened in the first timeline. So what do you want? I want to eat lunch, Shiro. How about that sweet omelet you made?
Oh yeah, well how about Sakura? Wasn't she supposed to be the one doing it, you cheater?
Yeah. Ellipses. That'll be it for my order. I want it delivered to the archery range right away. Bye! Yeah. Nice. Jeez, what's up with that teacher?
ったくしょうがねえよな。猛獣って腹減ると暴れるっていうし。
Guess it can't be helped. Their beasts go wild when they get hungry. I put on the apron I just took off. Well, it's a weekend day, so I guess you're not in any rush at least. Well, you're in a rush so that Taiga doesn't call again to be like, hurry up with my order.
No, I wonder, is it the same apron Sakura wears? Is it you wearing a pretty pink? Or do you have your own, like, Shiro red color? Or blue?
We have leftovers from lunch and the omelet will be easy to make. Oh, if there's leftovers, can't you just, like, do a quick little reheater-eater?
よし、できた。セイバー、ちょっと留守番頼む。
I'm done. Saber, can you watch the house for a bit? Okay, and then this is when Saber follows Shiro, very smartly. Which is, I mean, okay, I can understand why Shiro acts this way, because Taiga has really pulled him out of, the Grail War stuff into, like, more, you know, haha, this is everyday life shenanigans. If his mind was more in the Grail War, though, I think he'd realize that Saber should stay with him. Saber should probably stay with him anyway, and this does feel a bit dumb, but I can sort of understand where the dumb is coming from. Taiga sort of has a nonchalant dumbing effect.
I'm not saying blame Taiga, but I'm saying blame Taiga.
すぐに戻ってくるから待っててくれ。
I'll be gone for a while, but really though, it does feel pretty dumb to try to get Saber to stay behind, when to summon her at will you'd need a command spell and you've already wasted one. I suppose Shiro's just now getting into this, but he's already had the close encounter with Berserker. And I guess he's not thinking much about Rin, but Rin was like, we're gonna fight! So... I carry Fujine's boxed lunch and go out into the hallway. Saber follows me for some reason. I put on my shoes. When I look next to me, Saber's there putting her own shoes on.
セイバ
I call out to her timidly. Well, I know what she's gonna say, but I have to ask her. Oh, you know, at least that means you're smarticle, but why are you ignoring it if you know?
ー、その、なんだろう。
Well?
外出するのなら同伴します。サーバントはマスターを守るものですから。白を一人で外を歩かせるなど危険です。
I shall accompany you if you are going outside. Servants protect their masters. It is too dangerous to let you walk outside alone. And I very much agree. That is the smart move, which never happened in the original pathway, but it was less necessary because Rin was on our side and she was at, you know, out and about too. Still, there were times where Shiro went out alone. It had really bad consequences, like when he ran to Ilya and she kidnapped him. So Saber never coming with him wasn't the best move anyways, but at least going to school it was more okay. But now more than ever, so I'm glad that Shiro does end up relenting at least. I still feel like this whole timeline's Shiro wants to separate the whole halves of his life. I guess I can understand him not wanting to get the two halves involved, but, you know, if it's going to get involved anyway, you have to be prepared for it. I thought so. Well, this is something I have to tell her eventually. Oh, what are you going to tell her? I forget how this goes. This is a good time, so I'll tell her now. Oh boy.
セイバー、マスターってのは人目につくことを避けるんだろ？なら昼間は安全だよ。人気のない場所に行かない限り、あっちから仕掛けてくることはない。
I'm afraid to inform you, Tom, that you're late, but it's okay, it's still slightly recapish. Saber, masters try to avoid getting attention, right? Then daytime should be a safe time. They won't attack unless they go in an isolated place. Yeah, just pretend. Saber's in casual clothes, just pretend she's an acquaintance, which is what you do anyway. Because Shiro does seem to be smart now, so it's interesting that he's so opposed to, I would never go alone to a place like, yeah. I mean, this isn't Timeline 1 Shiro, so maybe he actually wouldn't in Timeline 2. But, still, it does show something about his character that he, is worried about being seen with her. Maybe it comes to... maybe if we're to ignore the smart, stupid part of his brain, assuming he's smart, giving him the benefit of the doubt, because this does seem a bit dumb, maybe it comes back to the idea that, he understands, even though he's having more of a bromance with Saber, he's still got that horniness, understands that being seen with Saber, and the idea of Saber being at her house might give people the wrong impression, and he might not want people like Sakura, or Rin, especially, you know, if he's starting to, if he's already going in the Rin direction, which maybe it's a bit early for that, he might not want the wrong impression to be given, like, oh, I can't, you know, meant subconsciously, like, I don't want people to see me with the pretty girl who I don't actually have romantic feelings for. They might get the, wrong idea, and it might, you know, subvert my interests, but also, he doesn't necessarily want Taiga finding out about it and getting wrapped up in it, and if Saber comes with him, Taiga will likely see her, although it's inevitable anyways, just because they're gonna end up coming home anyways. Maybe he has some cockamamie scheme to just hide her, which is what he kind of does in Timeline 1 anyways, but, she was kind of right. Shit so far in Timeline 1 never happens in daytime unless no one's around. That's fair. It's true that, you know, but, you know, you have to be careful because some masters might just be like, who gives a shit? I'll kill all the witnesses. Ah.
それは承知しています。ですが万が一ということもある。
Yes, I'm on Saber's side in this discussion. I'm aware of that fact, but there could be exceptions. In the other timeline, she didn't push like this. Maybe it was a combination of Rin and being caught off her guard because Shiro was prodding into her gender, as it were. That that Saber was less thinking smarticle about war times, whereas here she can be more focused about what's right and smart and stuff. There is a tactical advantage to hiding her, but you don't want to have to waste a spell if you have to fight on the fly. I agree with Saber's point here. The two should be sticking together, especially if they don't have an alliance with anyone like Rin. Like, it's a tactical advantage maybe you go for if you're teaming up with someone, but if you're alone and it's just you and your servant, I think it's a tactical advantage you can't afford. I think you should stick with your servant just most of the time. I would agree with that, especially because Shiro's not exactly very stealthy about his own. I suppose he's inherently stealthy because his magical energy isn't that good, but he wouldn't necessarily know how to stealth if someone was specifically seeking him out. So I'd argue trying to go for the, oh, I'll be separated from your Saber so people don't know I'm a master, probably won't work the best. I think it's too risky, and I would opt for the stick with Saber most all the time approach. There could be exceptions.
シロはまだ未熟ですから、四六時中共にいなければならないでしょう。
I agree with this. Since you're inexperienced, I should be by your side constantly. I'm okay with the idea that Shiro's hormones are making him be kind of dumb and say, wait, no, and try to find all the possible reasons that that's wrong, that sound kind of smart, but I do think it's the right move for them to stick together. What? Does she mean she'll be with me all the time?
バカ、そんなことできるわけないだろ。
You idiot, I can't do that. Yeah, I think his hormones are going against it, but he's smart enough to understand probably that it is the smart move, but his hormones are saying, I can deal with it.
大体な、ずっと一緒にいるって、それじゃ寝るときはどうするんだよ。
First of all, what will we do when I go to sleep?
シロは私を試しているのですか？睡眠中など最も警護すべき対象です。
Are you testing me,
当
Shiro?
然、シロのそばで私も待機しますが。
That is the time that requires the most attention. I shall be on standby right next to you.
Yeah, sleep together. And this time, you, as long as I don't think of you as a woman, we get to do it casually.
Yeah, although, yeah, that'll mess up Shiro's feng shui, but I guess as long as it doesn't mess up Saber's feng shui, it's not as important. I mean, debatable because Shiro can actually be a good fighter now, though maybe he hasn't realized that yet. Good thing there's no actual assassin. Right, because the assassin's a nice guy. He's honorable. He doesn't act the way a normal assassin would. And his alignment is evil. What a laugh. What? He said ba. That makes me think he was going to say baka. I hide my blushing face, take a huge breath to calm myself down. Dash, dash, dash. Damn, how stupid of me. I finally realized this important fact. This is what it means to fight alongside her. Aha! He realizes it was stupid. Good on you, Shiro. Even when you're being stupid, you at least realize it pretty quickly in Timeline 2. I like it.
シロ、どうしたのです？そこまで驚くことはないでしょう。昨夜リンが行ったことを私がするだけの話ではないですか。
What's wrong, Shiro? I do not think it should surprise you. It is just that I shall be doing as Rin did last night. Ah, yes, that is a slight difference, I guess. Because I believe in Timeline 1, after Berserker fucks you up, Saber is the one who stays by your side, which makes sense given that that's the Saber route. And this is probably more the Rin route. In Timeline 2, Rin stays by your side. Because, yeah, in Timeline 1, Saber is like talking to you just after the Berserker thing. Then you go talk to Rin, and then you decide if you want to team up or not. And then you go talk to Saber again. Whereas this timeline, you just start by talking to Rin. You don't have a second conversation in the middle, and then you just go straight to Saber. It's just that I shall be doing as Rin did last night. It should be less awkward in theory. Ellipses! Exclamation point! Don't kid me, I'll go crazy before I even fight if you do that.
ダメだそんなの。セイバーにはちゃんと部屋を用意するから、そこを使ってくれ。
Oh, I can't allow that. I'll prepare your room so you can sleep there. Ellipses. I won't give in even if you look at me like that. Oh man, your hormones are fighting your smartical impulse. Your hormones really are strong, Shiro. Your urge to resist the urge to not resist. Yes. You're still going in every direction at this point then, clearly. You're still thinking of Saber as a bangable thing if you're thinking of, oh, I can't be in the same room as you because my mind still views you as bangable. If it didn't, then he wouldn't really care about this sort of thing. So he hasn't become like a Rin sexual at this point or anything. Granted, I think it took a bit in Timeline 1 for him to become a Saber sexual, but not even that long. It was really the Berserker fight that started him on that route, whereas I don't think he's quite on the Rin sexual route, at least not to the same extreme.
シロ、いい加減にしてほしい。大抵の矛盾は我慢してきましたが、これは譲歩できない。あなたの方針はマスターとして間違いだらけだ。理由を聞かなければ従いません。
Please stop this nonsense, Shiro. I have tolerated most of your contradictions, but I cannot compromise on the contradictions. I mean, what do you mean? The fact that he's an inexperienced master? He's been pretty smart so far this timeline. Your plan is full of mistakes for a master. I cannot obey you unless you explain your reasoning. My reasoning is I'm a horny teenage boy, and if we stay together, I might have dirty thoughts, and I might act on them. It's for your own sake. I'm an animal. Stay away from me. I'm an animal. I mean, come on, Shiro, don't you think you have enough self-control? Or do you think you're that much of a lusty pervert that you can't control yourself if you sleep in the same room? Or do you just think it's too indecent? I feel like you should be able to get past the indecency if it is for the sake of winning the war. Just look the other way when you sleep. I don't know, I guess your mind, it might be harder for you to sleep if you're constantly having the sexy thoughts. I guess it depends on the person. Timeline 1 Shiro was a lot more stable sexual. Of course he was. I'm just saying that the idea that if Shiro's not a saber sexual. I'm just saying that Shiro's not quite a Rin sexual, which is why his hormones are still on the Saber radar at this point. Like, if he was fully on the Rin radar, for example, I don't think he would care as much about the Saber sleeping together right now. That's what I mean. Saber looks up at me. She's putting pressure on me, but I stare back at her. I stare at you now, so I don't have to think about you naked when we sleep together later.
理由なんてない。いいからおとなしくしてろって言ってるんだ。昼間は大丈夫なんだから、セイバーは休んでいればいいだろう。
I don't have a reason. I'm telling you, just do so. It's safe during the daytime, so go ahead and rest. Maybe it's his PTSD from Timeline 1 telling him, like, oh, don't go there. It's just going to be unhealthy and end badly if you go there. So best to stay away from any kind of urge to get into a relationship. Maybe, if there is some Timeline 1 residue.
断ります。明確な理由を聞かなければ私も引き下がれない。
I refuse. I cannot obey unless you give me a clear reason.
わかんないやつだな。セイバーは女の子なんだから同じ部屋でなんか寝れるわけないだろう。
You don't get it, huh? You're a girl, so there's no way I can sleep in the same room as you. Saber freezes. Yep, he still thinks of her as a girl, even though it wasn't really important to their establishing of the contract, and he doesn't think about her necessarily in a white knighting way like he did in the first timeline. He still thinks of her as a girl in the sense of, you know, I'm a horny teenage boy and you're still an attractive female that, you know, is on my would like to bang meter.
ともかく帰ってきたら部屋を用意するからそれまで休んでいてくれ。
Anyway, I'm gonna prepare you a room when I come home, so I'll rest until then. I run out the door, and then Saber, please smartly follow him. Ignore his hormones. He'll get over them. Jeez, am I a kid or something? Good, good. He recognizes that he's just being a horny teenager and making irrational decisions. Good, good. I run outside and slap my blushing face. Well, anyway, Saber should understand since I told her so firmly. Nope. Apologizing for yelling at her after I come home. I already remember that she doesn't, but I guess the reason she doesn't is because Shiro hasn't prodded that hard at her being a female. That probably just took her a little off guard. If he was going really hard into it, then it would probably frazzle her more. Like maybe it did sort of in Timeline 1 to an extent. Although maybe she wasn't thinking about it as much in Timeline 1 because Rin would be with me. But yeah, he wasn't that firm. He was very wishy-washy. I go down the hill. It takes us about 30 minutes to get to school on foot. I don't have to hurry, but I'm walking quickly right now. The reason being, she's following you. Yeah. Dash, dash. The girl walking silently behind me. Right, this excites me, seeing how Saber might interact with the school denizens and stuff. Ellipses. She'll follow me to school if I don't do anything. I have to clearly tell her right here.
セイバー、家で待っていてくれって言っただろ。マスターの言うことを聞けないのか？
Saber, I told you to wait at the house. You won't obey your master? I stop and turn to her. After glaring at me,
さあ、サーバントがマスターの指示に従わないということはおそらく聞こえなかったのでしょう。
Oh, that's fun playing coy. Who knows? If a servant is not following its master's order, it must mean the servant did not hear the master. She turns away from me. Uh-huh. So much of this so far, Shiro's just been treating her respectful, not bringing up her gender, which is sort of a weird point for her. But then she brings up the gender, and that probably brings up some PTSD, so she's acting coy all of a sudden. Understandable. I ignore Saber and go down the hill. Behind me, Saber is there, silently putting pressure on me.
いい加減戻れ。これ以上ついてこられると迷惑だって。はっきり言わなくちゃわからないのか？
You can tell by his voice that Shiro's basically just given in now, and he's just doing this sort of to go through the motions to not seem like he's okay with it. But I think he's just accepted it based on the tone of his voice. Go home now. Do I have to tell you that it's annoying to have you following me? I glare at the girl who is walking exactly 5 meters behind me. Dash, dash, dash. I don't know what her problem is, but I'm just met with silent defiance. Her problem is you used the G word. You called her a girl. You called her a female. She doesn't want that right now. It's a weird icky spot for her. She just wants to be thought of as a warrior and not a female. Or rather, she does want to be thought of as a female, but it's a deep down urge, and you have not prodded hard enough. Jeez. Maybe that's part of why she follows you. Because it is that deep down urge to be thought of as a female. And maybe she wants you to prod more. Maybe there's some subtle reason why she's following you is for you to prod more at that aspect. It's complicated for sure. I have no idea what she's so mad about, but I'm sure she's just obstinate.
そうかよ。じゃあ好きにしろ。
Yep, he's been reserved for a while now. Fine, do what you want. I ignore Saber and walk on. I guess Shiro's just accepted it because he realized it was a dumb idea to not stay with her at this point. Another argument for Saber's stay is for her to rest to conserve energy as well. That won't matter if we can fix our link. The argument is certainly there. I know that her resting will mean her energy won't go down as much as fast. But like if we get in a fight abruptly at any point, then we'd be in like super duper trouble. So it's debatable. I think we just need a way to fix our link, and I think that should be something we should be working towards. I don't think Shiro understands enough about the situation to know what can be done about it, but I don't know, maybe after we team up with Rin, she can suggest it. If she, I don't know, she'll care more about Shiro though, so she'll maybe be even more hesitant to let him do it though. I don't know. I go up the hill leading to the school. This town has lots of hills, but this one is especially long. The school on top of the hill is high enough to be able to see everything in this town. It's a bit past 1 o'clock. Fortunately, I don't see any students around. It's Sunday, so I bet most people in the clubs are still resting after eating their lunch. Uh-huh.
ついてるって言えばついてるけどな。さすがにここから先は無理だ。
Well, that's good, but I still shouldn't go any further. I sigh and give up. Dash, dash. I turn around. When I stop, Saber comes up to me and glares. She looks even more angry as I've been ignoring her this whole time. Maybe that inner part of her that wants to be seen as a female, deep down, is like, you stopped your prodding. Do you actually not care? You prodded a little. I thought maybe you cared, but then you stopped prodding. So she's like, you don't care. So she gets angrier. Maybe.
セイバー。
なんでしょう。好きにしていいということでしたが。
What is it? I believe you told me to do as I wish.
都合のいいことだけ聞くんだな、お前は。
So you won't hear things that are convenient for you, huh?
当然です。私はサーバントですから、ミスミスマスターを危険にさらすわけにはいきません。
Of course, I'm a servant, so I cannot allow my master to be in danger.
わかった。俺の負けだ。諦めたから一緒に学校まで行こう。そうすればお前だって学校が安全だってわかるだろうしさ。
Alright, you win. I give up. So let's go to school together. You should understand the school is a safe place if you go there. I think that's a little debatable with Rin running around. She probably thinks of the school as her turf, as it were. And also, Shiro even noticed there was a fight last night, or what was it last night? 2 nights ago? At the school. So that definitely wasn't safe. I guess it was after hours. But whoever has Lancer's servant is potentially a student at the school. They're not, but potentially. There's the blood circle, which I guess we don't know about, but Shiro himself felt something was weird there. We know Rin goes to school, and Rin maybe thinks of us as an enemy, which maybe Shiro's just not taking seriously enough. And he just wants to be able to use the school as an anchoring point. Like, he'll deal with the war stuff, but when he's at school, he just wants to be able to do the school thing. I can understand that, for him not wanting to get fully sucked into the, or to have some anchoring point from the war, but you can't just keep it separate after what he's been through, I feel. He needs to accept that.
それと、さっきは怒鳴って悪かった。
I'm sorry for yelling at you earlier. Huh? Aw. Because he understands he got flustered, and she's still feeling like, oh, when you called me a female girl, you brought up my gender point. And that gets her flustered. Shiro's main argument in his head is association would do anything to those trying to do in a public place. Maybe, but I don't think Shiro knows enough to assume that. And it's not even true, really. As long as the association kills all the witnesses, it doesn't really, or rather, whoever did the magic kills all their witnesses, it doesn't really matter. Huh?
ほら、そうと決まったら口裏を合わせよう。セイバーは親父の親戚で、
Alright.
観光がてらに遊びに来たってことでいいか。
He's gotten over his hormones, so now he's coming up with smart stories. I like this. Let's make up a story for you. You're a relative of my father, and you came here to visit and sightsee. Is that alright? That's the story that Saber more or less comes up with for herself in Timeline 1, if memory serves. She's like, I was an acquaintance of his father, I think. He's been briefed on the whole secrecy. I mean, yeah, he knows about the secrecy, but I don't think he quite comprehends, maybe? He might not comprehend the idea that some mages will just kill all the witnesses. Because, I mean, that's the whole thing, is if there's a witness, you kill them. As long as you do that, the association's like, okay, good job. You did your thing. Is that alright? I walk up the hill with Saber.
はい。それでシロの都合がいいのなら
Yes.
構いません。
I do not mind if that's convenient for you. And it's kinda true too. Nice.
よし、それじゃあ決まりだ。そうだな。どうせ遅かれ早かれ顔合わせはするんだから。
Good.
今紹介しても同じだ
Good,
よ
good,
な。
good. Alright, that's what we'll go with. Yeah, you would have met them sooner or later, so it doesn't matter if I introduce them to you now. You could have tried to hide Saber when Sakura and Taiga came over or whatever, but... And that's what he does in Timeline 1 at first. Until he's like, I need you to be a real girl that's part of the family. But in this timeline, he probably realizes that's going to be awkward and possibly draw more suspicion if they find it eventually. So it's kind of easier to just let them know right away with the made-up lie. Putting it off will make it worse if they find out. And having her live secretly in your house is kind of hard to hide the whole time, especially with nosy people like Taiga around. The only mage I'm thinking of that would just kill hundreds of people in public that we know of is Shinji. Sure, I also think of people like, from Fate Zero, the guy who summons Caster, the crazy guy. If you got a crazy mage like that running around, they probably wouldn't give a shit. Kirei probably wouldn't care that much. He enjoys people's suffering. He might think it's too easy to kill lay people. He wants interesting people to die for his amusement, I suppose, but, like, Shiro doesn't know the kind of people that are in the war. Just because we know doesn't mean Shiro knows, unless he subconsciously knows from Timeline 1. But I don't know how much subconscious stuff has really carried over. It seems like his character development has carried over, but anything having to do with other details doesn't seem to have carried over much. I think if you kill too many people, the rest of the war would team up and kick your ass. I mean, would they? Do they care? Some people would care. But, like, what if that's your plan, is to lure them into a trap? The more witnesses there are, the less reliable the strategy is. Even if we assume you catch them all, still a lot of deaths people are going to ask questions about. That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair, and that's something the association might deal with. But remember, just because murder is illegal doesn't mean people don't do it. Right? It's that thing where, oh, maybe it's bad for a mage to do something in public. What if the mage is just crazy or having a bad day and they lose their mind and start acting in public? Sure, maybe even if the association does catch them later, that doesn't mean you might still not get caught up in the moment and be like, shit, I don't have my servant with me because I wasn't expecting this. You can't just deal with the smart servants. You have to be prepped for the servants that are unhinged or a little crazy, or rather the masters. Because if you don't prepare for that, you'll get caught off guard. It's like, you know, if you're playing chess, if you're the computer playing chess, or even just a real person, and you only know how to fight against people playing smart, you'll just get fucking caught off guard by people playing stupid. They're playing stupid. You should usually know how to beat them, but if you're only trained to play smart people... Anyways, you would have met them sooner or later, so it doesn't matter if I introduce them to you now. You gotta know how to deal with stupid people. If you only prep to face smart people, you'll get bamboozled. That's right. Saber is bound to meet Sakura and Fujine if she's staying at my place. Yes, yes.
そうだ、セイバー。 聞き忘れてたけど、その服どうしたんだ？
Oh, and he asks regardless of the choice. I love this version of Shiro so much because I wanted to ask that in Timeline 1 initially, but then I didn't. It was a choice that I could have made and I never made it. But he just goes out and asks it and I'm so happy.
Where'd you get those clothes?
これはリンがくれたものです。レーターになれない以上、普段着は必要だろうと。
Rin gave these to me. Like, I always assumed she got them from, like, well, no, I guess Rin makes sense. She, like, borrowed some of Taiga's clothes or whatever, but no, Rin makes sense. Rin gave these to me. She said I will need normal clothes since I cannot turn to spirit form. Uh-huh, so Rin already helped us a little bit. Did she give you backup pairs of those clothes? How many copies of those clothes did she give you? Dash, dash, dash. That's unexpected. I'm not surprised by Tosaka's kindness, but just that she'd have such feminine clothes. She has to be a proper lady to keep up her appearances.
それじゃあ、あの鎧は？今はうちに置いてあるのか？
What about that armor? Is that back at the house? No, it's magic armor. I can summon it.
違います。あの鎧は私の魔力で編まれたものです。解除するということは消すということ。
No, that armor is formed
戦
from
闘時になれば、
my
すぐ
magical
にでも私の体を守るものです。
energy. I can remove it at will. It will immediately protect me during battle. It just makes you think, if she's not wearing these clothes and just has that armor on, what's underneath? Wait, we know what's underneath. We've seen what's underneath, actually, her battle getup. Never mind, I had a dirty mind, but we've seen what's ever underneath. We've seen her armor getting stripped away in Timeline 1, I believe. She has actual clothes that she wears, and they look nice. You get a good view at them in the final scene as she says, like, she loves you before she fades away. Anyways, it'll immediately protect me. I was just having the dirty thoughts, you know, as I normally would do. Is what if she removed her armor and she was naked? It'll immediately protect me during battle.
なんだ。あの武装はいつでも出したり消したりできるってことか。
So you can take it out at will?
はい。ですから心配は無用です。ここで敵に襲われようと、シロは私が守護します。
Yes, so you need not worry. I shall protect you even if an enemy attacks us here. Imagine a dumb master rampaging and Archer sniping them in the chaos. I suppose, but like, just because the dumb master is rampaging, they might have their servant rampaging and the master might be far away. So, you know, you'd have to deal with a 2-for-1. Also, Archer might want to be careful because, you know, cynical. He might not want to expose himself, especially if it's a trap. Could be a trap. You can't know for sure they're a dumb master. Remember Archer's quote. It's Archer's quote. Don't underestimate people. You might be like, wow, they're dumb for having them rampage. And maybe they are dumb. But you have to think, what if they're actually smarter than you think? And it's like some kind of trap. It's not a trap, but you don't know that. You have to be prepared for the idea that this is like next level chess. Anyways.
そっか。そりゃ頼もしい。
Yeah, that's comforting.
Yeah, Archer just nukes all the innocent people and the servants. No witnesses. Yeah, I don't know if Archer's normally that dark.
I think he's willing to just take out people like Shiro and Saber because he really does want to win at this point. He has some big wish, I feel. But he also has some important connection to Saber and or Shiro, which is why he was so willing to help them escape during the whole Ilya Berserker, because he thought, well, I'm never going to win because of my injury that Saber gave me. But he does seem definitely have the urge to win. But I don't necessarily think he normally likes involving innocents. I just read him as kind of a nice guy, but like he'll be ruthless during battle. He seems, you know, Kiritsugu-ish in that sense. I could be wrong. That's how I read him. Maybe because I've kept so quiet up until now, my honest opinion slips out. Aha, yes, because you know that is the smart choice. Saber's not answering me and continues up the hill. We reach the school gate. Oh well, I guess I'll just pretend I'm showing a new student around school.
セイバー、もし誰かに呼び止められたら何も言わずに首を振るんだぞ。日本語はわかりませんって顔ができればベストだ。
That's a little rude. I mean, she doesn't, like, I don't know. I understand why Shiro would say that, but Saber can talk. If Archer had a more ruthless master, Shiro would not get past day 2. It depends on if Archer, you know, if they actually know to find Shiro and if they're not busy dealing with another master. If Rin, I think it'd be more correct to say if Rin was more of a ruthless person, then that would be true. But if the master was somebody else that maybe wasn't immediately associated with Shiro, it might take a little while for them to actually come into contact. But it'd be great if you can make an expression like you don't understand Japanese. Ellipses. I mean, dash, dash, dash.
そういえば、なんだよ、怖い顔して。脅かしっこはなしだぞ。
Saber, what's for the serious section? Don't scare me like that. Saber doesn't like being put in the position where she can't have the freedom because, you know, that was all about, you know, as the king, she always had to, you know, she felt like she was trapped doing what had to be done, not being allowed to do what she wanted to do. And now Shiro's trapping her again, saying, you can't talk to people. Even though she gets to, you know, she was so initially enjoyed. Oh, that's right. She's freaking out because of the boundary field. But I remember in Fate Zero, she enjoyed experiencing the modern timeness. I guess she's already enjoyed it once at this point and is maybe more focused now that she, you know, failed in Fate Zero. But she might want to talk to people. I don't know. She's focused on her goal, and that's what she says. Maybe she doesn't really say it, but yeah, there's the boundary field that she senses. I get it. I was just, you know, shut up. I would have gotten to that. I would have figured that out.
いえ、別に白を見ていたわけではありません。ただ、魔力の残滓が強いもので驚いていただけです。
I did? I had the same analysis last time. I'm not surprised. Oh no, I was not looking at you, Shiro. I was just surprised at how strong the lingering magic energy is here. I guess sometimes I'm predictable. That's really funny to me. Just completely ignoring the obvious. Oh, she senses the boundary field and goes straight for the deep cut that she doesn't. She doesn't like being controlled. Oh, that's so great. Oh, I have tears in my eyes. I find that so funny. I just go straight for the deep analysis and ignore the surface level. I love it. Okay. I was surprised at how strong the lingering magic energy is here.
魔力の残滓本当か
Lingering magic energy, is that true? Saber says so, but I don't feel anything. That's because you're magically inept. Except, I mean, you're inept at it, but you're still good at it. You just don't know that you're good at it, so you're still kind of inept. Well, I can't feel any magical energy unless it's really strong.
はい。と言っても、シローには驚くべきことでもない。リンはシローとは同学年なのでしょ？彼女ほどの魔術師が1年以上いる場所なのです。
Is that true?
工房の一つも用意しているでしょうから。
Even for
どう
workshop
隠しても魔力は漏れる。
isn't here? Like, what if it's super far away? It is not something to be surprised about. Saber's still not the best at sensing it, so I guess you can't tell the difference that it's something really fancy like a blood fort. It is not something to be surprised about. Rin is in the same grade as you, correct? This is a place where a great magus has gone for over a year. I'm sure she has a workshop, so some magical energy will flow out no matter how well she may try to hide it. Sure, but it's a lot stronger than that, I suppose, but you don't notice because you're not the best at sensing magic. You're better than me, at least. Still, her workshop is far away from here. Saber dealt with Kiritsugu. I assume her tolerance for master bullshit is a lot higher nowadays. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, she did deal with Kiritsugu, but she didn't like it. So, and she probably doesn't like whenever Shiro reminds her of Kiritsugu. She was very much not a fan. It seems the magic energy Saber feels is from Tosaka. That is not true.
あいつも結構同志なんだな。入る前からセイバーに魔力感知されるなんて。
She's pretty stupid for getting her
あいつ中にいるの
magical
か今。
energy sensed even before you went inside. Wow, Rin sure is stupid. She is being kind of stupid right now because of her flustered emotions, but that's not what's happening here. Is she in there right now? Ooh, because you know it would be awkward if you ran into each other because of what she said last time?
いいえ、リン本人はいないようです。彼女がいるのならもっと強く感じ取れるでしょう。この敷地には 魔術師らしき人間はいない。
It does not seem she is in there. I should be able to feel the energy more strongly if she is. Nobody or something of magic is currently on the property. Shinji could be, though, because Shinji also has shitty magic, and he has to cheat to be a master. They didn't fully explain that, so it'll probably be revealed in a later pathway what I was talking about. But they went over the idea that he's not a real master and doesn't have real magic. Does Shiro have real magic? Is he sensible? I know he has real, secret, powerful magic, but, like, can Sabers sense him the way that she senses someone like Rin, I wonder? And if she does, is there a difference between Shiro and Shinji? I know there is, but is there a difference from someone like Sabers' point of view?
気になる違和感はありますが、とりあえず危険はありません。
There's a strange feeling, but there's no danger. No immediate danger, anyway.
だから危険なんてないって言っただろ。ほら、中に入るからちゃんとついてこいよ。
Shiro is very shitty in magic, except when he's super good in very specific things. Unnaturally good. I told you there's no danger here. Alright, let's go in. Shiro, you're just telling yourself that. You want it to be true. It's not true. Why are you ignoring the hard truth? You need this badly to be an anchoring point?
あれ、エミヤだ。何？もしかして食事は？
Oh, Emi, what are you doing? You in charge of her meal? Shinji, by his own words, says he has no magic, but a lot of knowledge. Shiro's the opposite. He's actually got a lot of hidden, super powerful magic, but no knowledge. Yeah, I suppose. Being super good in a very specific thing is pretty common for protagonists. That's very true. The protagonist being like, I'm new to this and don't know how any of it works, but I'm a natural at this specific thing. Yep, that's pretty common. It makes interactions interesting. If you're a natural at one thing, but like still can't really pick up other things, that means you have something interesting still to do in fights. Without you give the chance for the show to explain how the rules work without wasting years of time to like you have to train for years to be decent. So having one thing they're super special awesome at pretty quickly is good, but they're not amazing at everything, so there's still benefits seeing other people maybe do fights and stuff because oh yeah, they're good all-rounders, like Rin's a good all-rounder. Are you in charge of your meal? Dash dash. A person that knows you well comes in handy at a time like this. Mitsuzori Ayako, the captain of the archery club, even figured out why I was here just by seeing me.
お疲れ。お察しの通り、飯を届けに来た。
I'm here to
藤
deliver
根は中にいるか？
her lunch, as you guessed. Is Fujine here?
いるいる。いやー助かった。藤村先生ったら空腹でテンション高くて困ってたのよ。学食も休みだしさ、仕方ないんで買い出しに行こうかって考えあぐねてたところ。
Yep, man, you've saved us. We were worried because she was hungry and started getting edgy. Oh gosh, not an edgy tiger. The cafeteria is closed, so we were considering going somewhere to buy her food.
そこまで深刻だったか。で、買い出しってまさか下の豊悦に一人でか？
Was it that serious? Wait, were you thinking of going to Toyoetsu by yourself? Not Toyoetsu?
そこ以外にどこがあるっていうのよ。ただでさえ備品で金食ってるんだから、非常食に金は避けないでしょ。
Where else can I go? We're short on money already, so I can't be spending money on emergency food. Gosh, in Timeline 1, like, after our initial talk with Ayako, like, we just never saw her again, if memory serves, with Shiro. Because we heard something about her, how she got, like, mugged or something, or attacked by somebody and ran away, and then just never saw her again. I'm so happy in this time we seem to be seeing her more. If it's the Rin timeline, and Rin's friends with Ayako, then maybe that would make sense. It'd be nice if it's somehow secretly the Ayako timeline, just because I really like Ayako. And I like the relationship these two seem to have with each other, Shiro and Ayako, so that's fun. I'm glad. More Ayako. As expected from Mitsuzori, the woman who hates to waste money. Oh, hey! Thumbs up, I'm also pretty frugal. By the way, Toyoetsu is the name of the supermarket in the shopping district. In the archery club, anyone resting their arm and taking a break is sent on a grocery run as an exercise. It's a contradictory custom because even though it's an exercise to rest your arm, you have to carry back a lot of groceries. You're resting your arm, so go lug a bunch of heavy stuff. That's arguably the worst. Do we know who attacked Ayako yet? It was supposed to be just some random person, right? That's from my memory, it was just some random person. That's what they said. If they said anything else, I don't remember it. I think it was just a rando. If it wasn't a rando, like, I doubt it was a servant or a master. I don't know. I guess if it was, though, I'm surprised she got away. Like, she was okay. Unless she wasn't, and it was a lie. She died, and we were never told the truth. I assume whoever it is maybe has a connection to the war in some way that attacked her. If it's relevant, maybe in this timeline... Okay, yeah, I guess to be fair, they probably wouldn't have said that if it wasn't going to matter. A molester or something. Maybe... Okay. It would be weird for them to say that if it wasn't going to matter. So maybe the idea is we'll end up just being with Ayako at the time when she gets attacked in Timeline 2. So we can see it happen in real time so that the drop in Timeline 1 was a hint and not just something that's irrelevant in Timeline 2, possibly. Whoever this attacker is, maybe it's Shinji, because, you know, he's fucked up, but I don't know. Like, I feel like if a master attacked them in a master-servant fight, if Ayako's like a master, then we just wouldn't have heard about it. Maybe if Ayako's not a master, she was attacked by a master like Shinji just trying to get his creep on, I suppose, but then we probably would have known it was Shinji. Unless Shinji was using some weird magic to hide himself, but he's not, isn't the goodest at magic, so, I don't know. It might have it should have some connection to the Grail War, but it could just be a characterization thing. It could be, that Ayako gets attacked in this timeline, and we're there with her in this timeline, so we see it happening, and it adds to the characterization of Shiro or something, and it might have nothing to do with the Grail War. Because at the moment, my mental gymnastics can't really think of how it would really relate in an understandable way. It could, but my mind is thinking, if it's not just a nothing moment, which I assume it wouldn't just be a nothing moment, then it's just building up to a characterization moment, but you have to carry back a lot of groceries. Yeah, lugging things, that's one way to throw out your arm, so if it's already thrown out, it's pretty bad.
そりゃ災難だったな。
Goes to show.
ほら、
So,
弁当。遅くなったけど、藤姉に渡してやってくれ。
someone like Taiga would say would make up something like that, you know. She's in charge of the club. Here's the thing, something to do when you're resting. Also, it's gonna hurt you. For someone who's so good at physique, she probably hasn't really had much of experience with the idea of you know, throwing out your arm or something. There's some misfortune. Here's the lunch. It's a bit late, but go ahead and give it to Fujine. No, the plan is for you to come in, Shiro. You must come in. It was that little girl who attacked her? What little girl? You don't mean Ilya, right? You would have name-dropped her. Oh, you mean the little girl from that survived the family murder? Do we know it was a little girl that survived? Or could it have been a boy? Little girl. What other little girl is there? I mean, Ilya's a bit of a little girl, but I think you just call her Ilya at this point. Like, it could be someone like that attacked her. But, like, why would they? If they're, like, a little-in, then they're definitely not molesting. Are they testing their powers? The nature of their abilities? But that's pretty public. They would kill the witness in that case. So... older sister implies younger sister. I suppose, but it could be older sister, younger brother. I think I said, if anything, wouldn't I assume? Oh, that's right. I might be assuming younger sister because of the whole temple thing that Issei has a crush on, if that's who it is. But then my other mind goes to, it'd probably be younger brother, because we already have so much girls in this Grail War, and Ilya fits a similar role if they are kind of an axe crazy person. I hold out the bag.
お、豪華三段セット。いいね。久しぶりに見た。エミヤはこういう細いの上手なのよね。
Wow. A 3-layered box lunch. It's been a while since I've seen this. You're good at doing small, intricate things. Oh, that's right. I could do some small, intricate things with your... I don't know what she's happy about. She smiles. She's happy that I bothered to come out, even though I know I'm possibly confronting something hard because I've been avoiding the archery club, so that's why she's so happy. She's good at mass production. Mitsuzuru is usually in charge of dinner during our training camp. She surprises us every time. Because she's not good. I mean, she's good at doing it fast, but not good at doing it good. The world of cooking is deep, considering how curry with whole potatoes and it tasted good. No, she's good. She might not make the best delicate things. That's right, but she's good at mass decent cooking. I like it. There is a benefit to fast food. Fast food is important. Being able to make food fast. Well, anyway. But yeah, that is impressive, given that I don't like potatoes. Unless they're turned into french fries. Then, yum. Mitsuzuri only looks inside the bag and doesn't take it.
おい、嫌味はいいから受け取れ。中、藤姉が暴れてて大変なんじゃないのか？
Just take the bag. Isn't it a problem in there with Fujine going wild?
そうね。そう思うんならさっさと中に入って藤村先生に手渡してあげるべし。
There's the prodding. If you think so, you should go in there quickly and give the lunch to her.
だいたいね、入り口であんたを返したなんて言ったらもっとへそ曲げるに決まってるじゃない。
First of
私は
all,
藤村先生にしごかれたくはないからね。
you should know she'd get
ほら、
mad.
ここまで来たら観念して中に入りな。
If I turned you away here, I don't want to be chewed out by Fujimori-sensei, so go on in. She points to the range using her chin. Potatoes are great anyway, but baked. Oh, actually, I kind of like, what are they called? Oh, there is one way I like potatoes outside of French fries and stuff. I'm generally not a fan of potatoes, but I like them when they get all slimy. What's the word? Not mashed. Not baked. I forget. There's a term. There's a certain kind of potato where I'm like, I like it. But I generally just don't like potatoes. Just not a fan. I don't really eat them anymore for the most part, outside of French fries and that one type of potato. The term is escape. Hold on. Slime potatoes? That's not what it's called. Wait, hold on. I gotta look this up. What are the type of potatoes? How to do potato types. Potato type do. How? What are they? How to do potato types are there? Potato type. Different types of potatoes. PotatoGoodness.com. Let's see. Baked or roasted. Pan-fried. Mashed. Not mashed. Salads? No. Soups and steamed potato. Nope. Fried potato. Grilled potato. Mashed potato. Red potato. Yellow potato. Nope. Nope. How many types of potato? Nope. This is all wrong. I've not found it. There's a secret way. There is a secret special way to do potatoes I like. I don't know the name of it. I don't... Oh my gosh. There's a potato conundrum. It's a conundrum. I don't know. I don't know how to do potatoes. How do you spell potato in Japanese? Hold on. Ing to Jap. Potato. Oh yeah, that's right. Jagaimo. Of course it's Jagaimo. Because Jagamon from Digimon is Potatomon. Nice. Jagaimo. What about mashed... Oh, mashed potatoes. Relates to Jagamon as well. Oh, mashed potato. Okay, it just uses English. Alright, what about baked potato? Baked potato. Really? You have a Japanese word for potato, but no, like, baked potato, mashed... Maybe they do, and Google Translate's just giving me the easy way out by giving me the English. Hold on, we must take Jagaimo into Jisho, and see what kind of words can exist alongside Jagaimo. Jagaimo. Potato. Ooh, there is a kanji in Jagaimo. Cool. It's usually uses kana alone, but there is... I wonder what the potato kanji is used for. Where is this used? What is this kanji? Oh, it's the potato kanji. It's just never used. Oh, emo. Evo means emo. No, yeah, it's pronounced emo. Not emo as in emotional, just emo. Emo. Potato, yam. Oh, dud, worthless thing. Okay, so it means... Oh, it's a common word. Could mean like emo, like a yam, a worthless thing, makes sense. And that's all it's really used for. Sweet potato is not what I like. Emo jocho? Emo jocho, sweet potato. Okay. Hornworn? What? Oh, caterpillar of a hawk moth. Now you're making up words, J-Show. Imo mushi. Imo no ko is minor taro root. Taro cornlet. Okay. Alright. Corn shell is imo guy. Sweet potato vines, imo zuru. Alright, this just in, we have potato kanji that is not used in the normal word for potato. Mashed is good if you remember to salt the water heavily and then add some dairy when you mash them. I like me some sweet potato. We use French words for a bunch of cooking shit. English steals a lot of words from a lot of languages, though. Japanese steals more, at least, it's more clear when Japanese steals language because they use katakana, so maybe English steals plenty and we just don't realize it. This time when Renegade learns Japanese. Japanese stole that happened from us. I suppose. If English does steal a lot of words, it's not as clear because in Japanese, they have they use katakana entirely for loan words, so it's completely clear when something is stolen and not. So... She points to the range using her chin. Anyways, I never figured it out. I don't know what kind of potato I like. We'll just go with fries for now. I still like French fries, which aren't French, but you get the idea. Why are they called French fries? The world may never know. Wait, no, I have to check now that I'm on this potato tangent. We haven't continued at all, right? Why are they called French fries? Were they made by a French guy? They were not made in France. I know that. They're very much an American thing, right? In winter, when the river froze, the fish-deprived villages fried potatoes instead. It said the dish was discovered by American soldiers in Belgium. Okay, it was discovered by... Okay, Americans made it in a French place during World War I. Because the thing that they use, the ingredient comes from France, but it's American discovered? Since the dominant language of southern Belgium is French, they dubbed the tasty potatoes French fries. Okay, so Americans discovered it, but they first discovered it in Belgium. In World War I. The more you know. Alright, cool. It's also less clear because our entire language is built that way from the start. That's true. Ellipses. She's right. It can get scary later on if I don't go at least see her. I'm not here for archery practice, so I can go home as soon as I hand her the lunch. You can, but you won't. You'll be drawn to the archery. I give up and head to the archery range.
けどな、三釣。お前も長いんだから、朝のうちに藤根の弁当ぐらい確認しとけよ。顧問が生徒の昼飯を物欲しそうに見て回る。なんてイメージ悪すぎるぞ。
But Mitsuzuri, you should be checking if Fujine has her lunch or not. I mean... Oh, you mean once she gets there. As soon as she gets there, you should check. I see what you mean. Since you've been here long enough, it's bad if the teacher starts looking at the students' lunches. Yeah, very bad.
いや、それが私も今朝は疲れててさ。
Oh.
最近ちょっと忙しくて、あんまり余裕がないんだな。ま、あんたに愚痴ってもしょうがないんだけど。
What are you about, Ayako? I don't peg you for a master at this point. I'd be surprised. I was a bit tired this morning. I've been busy lately, so I don't have much time to spare. Well, it does no good to be complaining to you. Why have you been busy lately? This is just when the master-servant stuff started, right? We had that whole joke where Rin was talking to Ayako, and I thought they were talking about masters, but they were talking about boyfriends. Is the plot twist that Ayako is a master? She can't be Caster's master. We never saw Ayako again. Maybe she died and we didn't know. Assassin's master? I don't think so. I'd be very surprised, but it is convenient timing that she's coming into shit at the same time. I want to say it's a red herring, and that it is just convenient timing, and there's something going on with her related to the molester maybe from the other timeline that has to do with her character development and maybe further Shiro character development, because Ayako is the one that sort of gets to the heart of Shiro's stuff. And they are closest in sort of the... I mean, Ayako is the original female bromance with Shiro. So maybe there's some interesting characterization there. The Germanic Old English train collided with French, and letters and sounds just everywhere. I don't get the joke, but I'll take your word for it. Ayako and Assassin are both about martial arts and stuff. I guess, but like, Ayako would have had to live in that case, which is fine, but I just don't see it coming. Maybe, I just don't see it coming, because it feels like Ayako feels a very specific role for Shiro in the bromance department. But it's not like something they had to pull. Maybe they can pull the ripcord on it for an interesting plot twist. But, I don't know. It's similar to Taiga. Like, that'd be a very dark ripcord to pull. I doubt they'd do it. They might. It wouldn't be as dark as Taiga pulling that ripcord. And I guess it's not as important to Shiro because she's not around as much in Timeline 1. But maybe in Timeline 1, Shiro is so focused on sabersexual, and Aiko has to not be around because Aiko's so good at telling when Shiro's a little fucked up. She wasn't as maybe the most sure what to do about it, but if she was around, maybe Shiro's tells were more obvious in Timeline 1 that if Aiko was around more, she would have been more like, hey, I realized you're fucked up. So that's why she couldn't be around, but in this time she could be around more, and we can have a bit more of a heart-to-heart about his fucked upness, and maybe that's the reason why? Maybe. So again, it still feels like pulling the ripcord would be awkward. Taiga pulling that ripcord is definitely an endgame plot twist if she is a master. Sure. But Aiko, I think, has a similar ripcord that would be dark and gritty if it's pulled. I guess the idea, if they're holding off and revealing a couple masters, they should be plot twists. I don't know. I'd be surprised. It would be pretty fitting, though, given that my first ever joke about Rin and Aiko both being masters would come full circle. But it does not, it does no good to be complaining to you. Then she suddenly comes up to me and whispers into my ear, "Oh fuck."
で、エミヤ。あれ何者よ。すっごい美人だけど。知り合い？
So? Who is she? She's really beautiful. Do you know her? Oh. And there's Ayako feeling a little self-conscious about her own beauty, I guess. There seems to be a bit of a bromance between Shiro and Ayako, but also, maybe Ayako, I mean, there's always going to be some romantic feelings there for sure, I think. I also theorize that Ayako is holding back more for Sakura's sake. So she still probably feels something. Especially, though, because Ayako and Shiro have been good friends like this for so long that she wouldn't necessarily want someone to replace her in the best friend department at the very least, even if she can't go to the romance department. So, that's fair. Her voice is tense as she asks. Dash. Yeah, I'd usually be surprised to see Saber. All the more if she's coming into the archery range after me.
どうなのよ、エミヤ。あれ、知り合い？
So, is that an acquaintance of yours?
説明すると複雑なんだが、そういうことにしておいてもらえると助かる。ついでに、あいつが部室に入ってもみんなが騒がないように言い含めてくれると。
And Shiro knows that he can't fully lie to her. So he actually sort of kind of tells her the truth. It's kind of complicated, but let's just say she is. Instead of saying, yes, she is, he says, let's just say she is. That's what his plan is to tell everyone that. But to Aiko, he kind of tells the truth because he knows that she's good at reading him. Let's just say she is. And if you can go ahead and tell everyone not to make a fuss about her when we go, and I'll be indebted to you. Wonder what Aiko's going to think about that.
OK。事情は気になるけど、その交換条件は気に入った。エミヤ、後でチャラってのはなしだからね。
Oh, the fact that I'm indebted to you? Ooh, maybe that has to do with us hanging out more, maybe when the molester shows up. I'm definitely happy about being indebted to Ayako, because that means more Ayako, and I like Ayako. Alright, I'm curious, but I like that condition. Don't take it back later, okay, Amiya? Yeah, we didn't have enough Ayako for me to, in the first timeline. But I think Ayako might be my favorite female. Well, Ilya's best girl, but I think Ayako, I don't know, generally, I like her the most as far as the female characters go, I'd say. Yeah, I think that's a true statement. Maybe not in a romancing way, but just as a general character way, I like her a lot. So I'm gonna enjoy seeing her more, I think. It was hard to really make much of a statement on her in Timeline 1, but I am glad that we'll see more, because I liked the idea of her before she kind of got dropped from the plot in Timeline 1. I'll be indebted to you. Ooh, what's the debt gonna be? How are you gonna make him repay the debt? Don't take it back later, okay, Amiya? I open the door. Saber silently follows after me and meets Tsuzuri. We enter the archery range. The range is as loud as a battlefield, since it's right after lunch.
藤村先生、美咲さんがお腹痛くて死にそうだと言ってます。さっきの乾パン、いつの時代のだったんですか？
Fujimura, Misaki-san is saying she's gonna die of stomachache. How old was that cracker? Oh no, just like 10 years old. A cracker? A single cracker?
そんなのただの腹痛よ。一緒に食べた先生は元気なんだから、美咲さんには昆布茶でも飲ませておきなさい。
Taiga, that's just because you're a fitness nut, a health nut, both in terms of physique and you know, you have a high constitution, higher than some random schoolgirl. That's just her side hurting. I eat it, I'm doing fine. Just give her some kelp tea.
大賀先生、巻き割ら練習するんでストーブ移動させてください。道場の炭は寒いっす。
Taiga-sensei, I'm gonna practice, so can you move the stove? It's cold in the corner of the range.
はい、いい度胸してる君は半ズボンで道場3周、腐った少年ともども叩き直してきなさいね。
Such a bad teacher. Alright, since you have some guts, go run around the range 3 times in shorts. Go and beat that rotten character of yours into shape. What, because it's too cold? Yep, big walk it off pussy, yep.
先生、出血です。北子くんが鶴で頬を切りました。
This very much seems like someone, you know, raised by a yakuza. Raised in a family of a bit of a no-nonsense upbringing, I would assume. Sounds right. Sensei, we have someone bleeding over here. Kitako couldn't cut her cheek with the bowstring.
その程度なら保健室に行かなくてもいいわ。
You don't have to go for the nurse office for this small wound. In that case, it really is just walk it off.
裏山に植えてあるアロエでも塗っときなさい。
Just rub some of that aloe planted in the back on it.
いった。もうなんだってこんなに裏ぞってんのよ、この弓ってば。こんなんじゃうまく張れないじゃない。
Ouch, geez, why is this bow like this? I can't put the string on well if it's like this. Right, and they're all girls because Shinji tends to scare away the other guys. So that's why everyone here seems to be a female.
そこ上から押さえて張らないの。まだ若いんだから難しいんなら2人でやんなさい。ひっくり返して切り爪が離れたら後で首を折っちゃうんだから。
Oh, there, don't push on the top. You're still young, so get someone to help you if it's difficult. If you break it, your neck will be broken later on. Because we can't afford new ones, so I'll break your neck in retribution. Jeez. That's arguably her best advice, though. Like, we can't afford new ones. Don't do it if you don't know what you're fucking doing, bitch.
こうポキッと大事な弓を壊した生徒私が。
That is, I'm gonna break your neck for breaking our precious bow.
先生、切り子がありません。手が滑ります。
Sensei, we don't have any powder. My hand's slipping. Ah, yes, powder for your hand getting all sweaty and not being able to wield the bow properly.
誰か物置に行って在庫を取ってきて。
Oh, really? Can someone go to the storage room and get some of the stock? Taiga's tough guy attitude works with everyone but Shiro. I mean, I guess. Maybe that's because Taiga knows Shiro. Well, Taiga knows Shiro well. So you could say it works with everyone but Shiro. Well, maybe it's because Shiro knows Taiga well, that at first Shiro did treat Taiga more like a... Maybe it's if you get to know her well enough and you get used to her shtick, you start fighting back. I think that's fair. Sakura's also started fighting back at this point, right? To an extent. Yummy water. Water's so yummy. It's so yummy when your throat is parched. Normally, I don't like drinking water. I'm more of just, you know, drink some juice or some milk. Water is a normal beverage of choice. Not the best in my opinion, but you know, when I'm parching my throat by talking a lot, water hits the spotty spot. Yeah, it rhymed unintentionally. Can someone go to the storage room and get some of the stock?
先生、在庫切れです。原因は先日先生が発注を忘れたことだと思います。
She's so bad at teaching. She's so bad. Maybe she's bad. I mean, I don't know if she's bad at teaching, but she's bad at being a guardian figure. Maybe Shiro can handle it well because he's a tough cookie, or rather, he became a tough cookie because this is Taiga's guardian style. Or maybe I don't know. She's a better guardian to Shiro because of Kiritsugu and being respectful, but to generic students, or maybe because it's a sporting club. Maybe in a sporting club she puts on more of a walk it off pussy attitude because she thinks this is the best way to raise you as a fighter, which is different than when she's being a normal guardian. I could see that, that's fair. Sensei, we're out of stock as well. I think it's because you forgot to order more the other day. Although that's her just being clumsy, forgetting to order more.
じゃあ1年は野球部から老人バッグちょっぱってくること。
Oh man, the first years are to go to the basketball club and steal some Rosenbachs. That is very, very unteacher-like. And of course, making the first years do it like it's your it's your hazing. If you get caught, it's your fault, not mine. Taiga's so bad she reinforced Shiro's stubborn and bad attitudes. I guess. I mean, she's not the best at home either, you know, what with pranking Shiro and stuff. But I think she does, I do think to an extent her no-nonsense attitude comes a bit from the fact that it's a sporting club. Maybe she thinks this is just how you raise someone to be a sporter. But she's still kind of shitty as being a general guardian, but I think she's purposely shittier here, if that makes sense. She's nuts! Oh, Taiga Fun Time is fun. Taiga's a fun character. And she can be serious some of the time. I enjoy her. I enjoy a lot of the characters and a lot of the relationships in this game. I don't know if there's a single character I'd say I dislike. If anyone, I dislike Shiro from Timeline 1, but I've gotten over it, I guess. And even him, I learned to appreciate in hindsight. What Wise said the other day was really truthful. The idea that everybody else is good enough, you can get over the fact that maybe you dislike Shiro. And it's true, yeah, usually there are some characters in the cast where I'm like, oh, I'm not a fan of this person. But that's not really true. And again, even in hindsight, I'd say I like Shiro because I understand the arc. I just didn't really like him at the time. Someone might bring up Shinji, but I actually like Shinji. I think he's a very, he fulfills his douchebag role correctly, and I like how it's handled. Ellipses. Man, this place doesn't change at all.
Sate.
Well then, sate indeed. I can't be watching this hellish scene forever.
Oh, ちょうどいい。Oi, Sakura!
Oh fuck. Sakura and Sabers meeting. Great timing. Hey, Sakura! I call out to her.
Senpai?
Yes, indeed, senpai. Sakura, I'm still wondering, in the other timeline you said, oh, I'll come back in a week, and it took more than a week for you to come back, so something was going on with you. Shiro implying this is normal time behavior. I mean, yeah, Taiga's been in charge of the club for a while, right? So, sounds about right. It's not healthy, but if Taiga's been getting away for so long, maybe the school lets her get away with it because they know she's, like, got connection to the Yakuza, so they don't want to mess with her. Maybe because she was so good for their school's, what was it? For their school's, I don't know, sumo club? No, she did good fighting. Some kendo club? She did some kind of fighting. Multiple clubs. She was good at fighting clubs. A combination of that and her Yakuza connections, they give her a free pass. I understand it's more just a comical thing you don't look too much into. But, you can still think about the real world reasons why. Yakuza connection's potentially a real reason. Like, yes, she's a very bad teacher. Maybe Yakuza reasons are like, sure, we can let you be a terrible teacher. She only got this job due to her connections, sure. If you want to put some realism to it, when really you could just say comedy, but there's a realism reason. A bit of money in their pockets, and yeah. That's a very shady school in that case. You may want to change some stuff up, but it's okay. We don't have to worry about that. That's not a plot for this game. That's a plot for some spin-off of legal repercussions. Senpai! Sakura puts down the bow in her hand and runs to me. Oh!
Senpai, どうしたんですか今日は。もしかして、
Oh no, we've gotten her all excited when that's not why we came here. Maybe subconsciously, like the fact that we came here means we knew what we were doing. Maybe Shiro's more accepting of it. Now that he's, past the timeline one, fighting the hard truth kind of thing. Senpai, why did you come here today? Could it be,
Fujineに弁当を届けに来たんだ。
Look at how happy, yeah. She would be so happy for Shiro rejoining the club. Would make her the happiest, because she gets to spend even more of her day with Shiro in that case. Also, she feels bad that Shiro left because it was possibly because of Shinji, so this will make her feel very happy. Yeah, I brought lunch for Fujine. Oh, and she's gonna be a little disappointed. Shiro didn't want Saber to come to break Sakura's heart. That's true too. Like, again, though, Shiro's was like, oh, but the interaction was inevitable. And that's why he just let it happen. Which is true. He didn't want, you know, things to become awkward. But the awkwardness is inevitable, so.
悪いんだけど、あそこでむちゃくちゃ言ってる教師を連れてきてくれ。
And then Sakura's going to be let down a little bit, but at least he's here. So she might not show the letdown. I'm sorry, but can you go with that crazy teacher over there? Yeah.
そうですよね。
Never mind. She showed
そう
it.
いえば先生。
She very much showed the letdown. Big letdown. Oh. Oh, yeah. She was calling someone. Come on, Shiro. Don't be that dense. Maybe you haven't quite figured out why Sakura wants to hear that badly, but when you hear something like that, I feel like you'd be like, oh, that's right. Question mark? Don't be that dense, Shiro. Your timeline too, Shiro. Be smarter. I don't know where her cheerfulness went as she slumps her shoulders. Come on, you know she wants you to rejoin the group, right? Don't be the dumb. I guess you're more dumb when it comes to character relation interactions. You're still, you know, I don't know. I mean, you're not that dumb, but I guess if anything, you still have some dumbness when it comes to interpersonal relationship stuff. I think you'd be a bit smarter about Sakura though, because you've known her for a while.
そういうこと。藤根、腹減って無理難題言ってるんだろ。手遅れかもしれないけど、とにかく弁当を作ってきたから食わせてやってくれ。
This definitely does seem like Rin's timeline, but you know, I still like Sakura, so shut up. I like Sakura more than Rin so far. That's it. Fujine is giving absurd orders because she's hungry, right? It might be too late, but let her eat this since I made it.
それと、昨日は遅くなって悪かった。晩飯作っといてくれて、サンキュー。
Okay, that's a way of making her feel a little bit better, is, you know, bringing that up. Nice compliment. You might not know why she's feeling sad, but you know how to maybe rectify the situation. That's something at least. Oh, I'm sorry for coming home late last night, and thanks for making me dinner.
そう言ってもらえると嬉しいです。けど、
Yes, I'm glad that you say so, but she never came home last night? Never? She looks behind me. Oh, no, she did. She's thinking about Saber. I see. I understand. Okay, it's always about the... Who is that? Why do you have a pretty girl with you? Ooh. She'd be feeling the self-conscious issues even more than Ayako because she, you know, really us in for that Shiro dick. There stands a gold-haired girl unsuited to this range. Right there in all her glory.
先輩。
Senpai?
なんだ、もしかして本当に手遅れか。一応さくらの分も作っといたのも無駄。
Oh, was I too late? I made some for you as well, but was it unnecessary?
そんなことないです。私もお腹減ってます。先生に半分あげちゃったから。
Yeah, that diffuses it and makes her happy again because she's getting all worried about Saber, but then when Shiro's like, oh, I made lunch for you too, she's like, oh, you still care about me, so. No, that's not true. I'm hungry as well. I gave half of my lunch to Sensei.
そんなことだろうと思った。さくらのはすぐに食べられるようにしといたから、そう時間は取らないはずだ。
Yeah, I thought so. I made your lunch so you can eat it right away. It shouldn't take that long to eat it.
ま、みんなもそういう事情なら、昼食を再開しても文句ないだろうけどな。
I don't think anyone's going to complain if that's the case, especially since you did give half your lunch supposedly.
そうですね。それじゃあごちそうになりますけど。
You're right.
先輩、
Mm.
今日はずっと道場にいるんですか？
I'll have some time. Will you be here all today? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Going back to what she really wants.
そうだな。せっかく来たんだし、部活が終わるまで学校にいるよ。昨日はすっぽかしたし、今日の夕飯は俺が作るから、さくらも食べに来てくれ。
Quote from another streamer. Sakura must be thinking, that Gaijin Husty is stealing my man. I mean, yeah, basically. I mean, it's very obvious. Yeah, since I'm here, I'll stay here until the club is over. All right, this is him accepting the idea of the archery club a little bit, or potentially at least. It's weird that he doesn't understand why Sakura would be so upset if he is thinking about accepting into it. But maybe, you know, because he's so into the Taiga mindset, he's so brainwashed by the Taiga mindset and thinking about dealing with Saber, he's not really focusing on Sakura right now. That's fair, I suppose. Yeah, since I'm here, I'll stay here until the club is over. I skipped making dinner yesterday, so I'll cook dinner today. Come and eat with us.
喜んで。それじゃあすぐに先生を呼んできますね。先輩、お弁当だけ置いてどこかに行くのはなしですよ。
Yes, it'll be my pleasure. Then I'm gonna go get Sensei. Senpai, please don't just drop off lunch and go away, okay? The Matos are a blind spot for him. I think because of Timeline 1, sure, but I think Timeline 2, sure, will be a little more willing to confront it. We'll see. That'll be a bit of a determining factor. He should be a little more willing to confront Shinji. It's still awkward, for sure, but, it's definitely awkward, but, if he sees the signs, I think he'd be a little more ready to just jump straight at it than beat around the bush. But for now, it's still a bit of a waiting game, I guess. Sakura goes to get Fujine in a hurry. When I look around, Mitsuzuri is explaining things to the students that are getting rowdy from seeing Saber. Well, I've accomplished my goal. Also, sure, you never answered a question. Wait, did she have a question? Did she just look awkwardly and not say anything? Made you lunch, you can eat it. Was I late? That's not true. I'm hungry as well. Oh, okay, she never quite got to the case of asking the question. I see. She just ignored it and trusted Shiro at that point. Fair. I've accomplished my goal.
お腹いっぱい。糖分も頭に回ったし、これでようやく本調子ね。
I'm full now. The sugar's flowing to my brain, so I'm finally up to par now. Alright, good on you, Taiga.
This is the real Taiga Dojo. I get it, because Taiga's in the dojo.
It does have similar energy to the Taiga Dojo, for sure. Although Taiga seems to be a lot more gentle with Ilya than with these students. Which is understandable, given that Taiga is looking after... Ilya comes off as someone who is a bit more delicate, which is half true, but yeah. But B... she is having to do it as more of a guardian situation. And it's sort of a favor to Shiro... Whereas this is more, you know, head bonker, but the break room. Head bonker? You know what I mean. Head bonker. It works. Fujine is munching on some sweet bean jelly as she drinks some tea. The only thing audible in the quiet dojo is the sound of arrows. Must be because Fujine is calm now.
先生、そろそろ私も社長に出ますから失礼しますね。
Sensei, I'm going to the range now, so excuse me.
はいはい。あ、控えにいる三辻さんに話があるからこっちに来るよう伝えてもらえる？
Alrighty. Oh, can you tell Mitsuzuri-san to come here? I need to talk to her.
はい。先輩もゆっくりしていってください。できれば久しぶりに指導してもらえると助かります。
Okay, please stay at your leisure, Sensei. Senpai. Senpai. If you can. It'd help me out if you'd coach me. Stay at your leisure. Okay, I see. Sensei would be Taiga. Senpai is Shiro. I see. You kind of like switched a little because, yeah, Sensei. She does call Taiga Sensei. She's calling Shiro Senpai, so it switched in my mind. I thought she was still talking to Taiga. Okay. It'd help me out if you'd coach me. Ooh, yeah, Sakura would really like that coaching. It's one-on-one personal coaching. Let me just show you how to hold the bowstring, Sakura. That would definitely make her heart race. Sakura bows and leaves. But when she does so... Saber's still looking. She's looking at Saber. She looks uneasily at Saber, who's watching us quietly by the wall. Oh, yeah, she's feeling like, no. Why? Who? She got pretty defensive against Rin, too, in the other timeline. Rin wasn't, funnily enough, it's Rin more that she has to look out for in this timeline, and Saber more who she'd have to look out for in the other timeline, but it was Rin she got really defensive towards in the Saber timeline, and Saber in this one, so that's kind of funny, the ordering. Just because of how it worked out. She's watching out for the wrong females. That's her problem. She looks uneasily at Saber, who is watching us quietly by the wall.
で、シロはこの後どうするの？部活は5時に終わらせるけど、それまで見学していく？
So what are you gonna do now? The club's over at 5, so we just watch until then? I got a choice, right? What should I do? It seems Saber's looking at the archery range with interest, so I should... Doop-a-doop-a-doo! We're making a new save! Archery question! Yeah, I remember this question really threw me off when I got here initially, because I was like, wait, what? We get another choice? We get another choice? Because I didn't realize at that point we were on a different timeline. But I believe I chose to stay at the archery range. I would like to commit to my choice. I chose to stay at the archery range, if memory serves, because I wanted to be respectful to Sakura. Because Sakura said, will you stay? And Shiro said yes. And I don't want to turn Shiro into a liar because I like Sakura. I also want to maybe interact more with Aiko by staying. Like, showing Saber around school and going to the student council room are both interesting, and I'm kind of curious what they do, but I want to stick to my guns. I'm pretty sure I chose to stay at the archery range because I wanted to respect what Sakura said about, will you stay the whole time? And Shiro said, sure, and I don't want to make him a liar. So we're going to stay at the archery range. Yes, yeah, I did make the right choice, because it's asking me to skip the scene. We're not going to skip it. Yeah. I think I'll cause trouble if I walk around school with Saber. I'll relax in this familiar club room.
決めた。お邪魔じゃなかったら見学してるよ、藤根。
Yeah, I'll stay and watch if it's not going to be a bother, Fujine.
よしよし。それじゃあ私は稽古をつけてくるから、シロはここでボケっとしてなさい。あ、弓を持ちたくなったら遠慮しないでいいからね。シロは私の教え子だし、人一倍になってるんだから。
Alright, well, I'm gonna go teach, so you can relax here. Oh, you don't have to restrain yourself if you want to shoot. You're my student, and you're better than most people. Gonna go teach. You can relax here. Wait, you're gonna teach, even though you're in charge of the club? What happened to the audio? What do you mean? Okay, so where were we? Right. I'll stay and watch if it's not gonna be a bother, Fujine. Alright, well, I'm gonna go teach, so you can relax here. Oh, you don't have to restrain yourself if you want to shoot. You're my student and you're better than most people. Uh-huh, right, okay. She's gonna teach. Wait, isn't it a weekend day? How can you teach? Is that a lie? Are you lying to me to give me a chance to really stretch my legs? Because how would you, I guess, is there, like, after credits special class you can teach here? I still feel like you're conveniently trying to get me to really interact, and that's what you mean by you're gonna go leave. Dash. But yeah, Tipoima, your comment about the voices being off a while ago. Yeah, there were times where I turned them off because we were going through retread dialogue. To my knowledge, that audio just dying on me thing has never happened before. But anyways, and we're still kind of retreading a bit, but it's closer to new stuff, and it's stuff that I really enjoy, so I want to leave it on. I usually leave the voices on. I generally don't turn them off. It's true that I'm better than anyone when it comes to shooting arrows. Allows himself to admit that he's good at something. That's character development. Even though I was away for a while, I'm sure I could get the same result I had when I used to come here. But that's not because of my skill in archery. It's because of my magical eyesight. I hit the target like I do in my mind because of my everyday training in magic.
それはないよ、藤根。俺には Q が欠けてるじゃないか。
That's not true, Fujine. I'm missing the endurance part. I remember the good old days when leaving the voices on was an actual debate. Yeah, it was. I remember that too. I remember you can thank Rin for part of why I ended up ultimately leaving them on. Because I was like, oh, this is going to be such a long novel. I don't want the voices getting in my way. I'm now invested enough that I don't care. I just really enjoy the voices and I want them on. But Rin is why I was like, oh, I want to hear Rin. Because she has the same voice as Mayo from Ever 17. And I really liked Mayo. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Let me hear more of Mayo. Yeah, that was when I was still struggling a bit with the idea of, do I care if this takes forever? And I think the answer I came on is, I don't care. I'm enjoying it. If it's forever, it's a forever I enjoy. I like the voices. Anyways, that's not true, Fujine. I'm missing the endurance part.
何？日に200以上の矢数をかけよ。その他は弓話に過ぎぬってやつ？シロ、つまんないこと知ってるのね。
What? Do you mean, you have to shoot more than 200 arrows a day and how everything else is just releasing the bow? You know boring things, Shiro. Well, you know it too for bringing it up, Fuji.
いや、弓道やってるなら知ってるだろこれぐらい。
You should know this if you do archery. Ah, so Shiro maybe doesn't want to do the archery because he thinks of himself as a cheater. Because he's not doing real archery, he's just using the magic to cheat the archery win. So he doesn't think he deserves to show up the other students, maybe.
ともかく、半端な気持ちじゃ弓は持てないよ。心構えもなってないし、これじゃ会心に入れるかも怪しいもんだ
If
し
I
さ。
remember right, he has a talk with Ayako, and Ayako convinces him maybe to take archery back up again to an extent. Something like that, right? At any rate, I can't shoot if my mind isn't into it. I'm not prepared at all, so I don't know if I'll ever hit the target. You say that, but you're lying. You know you'll hit the target, but because you're a cheater, you're magically cheating. And you don't think you deserve to cheat, maybe? And that's why your mind's not into it?
けどシロ、何も毎日弓を構えて矢数をかけることだけが稽古じゃないよ。
Oh, but Shiro, shooting arrows every day isn't the only way to train.
弓を持たなくともちゃんと自身を鍛えているならそれも立派な苦の境地なんだから。そうやってけじめをつけるのもいいけどね、弓に礼を尽くそうとする心もこだわりよ。なんであれ、絡まれば流れはよどむんだから、たまには素直になっときなさい。
The endurance is, yeah, when you say how and avoid like that, it's hard for me to know what you're talking about. The endurance is good enough if you're training yourself. It's good to make a distinction, but it's also good to try to respect archery. It'll all be good if you just nod, so be honest once in a while. Oh yeah, be honest once in a while. I think this show is a little better about being honest. You just nod and wave to your craziness, Taiga. The endurance is good enough if you're training yourself. And Shiro is training himself, just differently. That's very fair. Maybe Taiga's a little onto that to an extent. He's doing some kind of training, even if she doesn't know about the magical training. Unless she does, plot twist. It's good to make a distinction, but it's also good to try to respect archery. Ooh, so you're saying you're not respecting archery by, if you think, oh, you're training some other way, it's not fair and you think you're cheating. And she's saying that's disrespecting archery by saying archery is just that easy for anyone if they're a cheater. And you're like, Shiro, even if you're cheating, that doesn't mean you're not good at archery. How's he going to cheat? Oh, I mean, because he's magic. That's what Shiro was saying himself. Like, I'm going to hit the target every time, but not because I'm good at archery, because I'm using my magic to see where the target is. I can use my super magical, awesome vision to envision how the arrow will fly to the target exactly, which he thinks is, I'm thinking he thinks is, like, unfair. Like, it's not fair to the other archers, so he doesn't think he deserves to do it that way. He thinks that's being disrespectful to archery. And Taiga's fighting back with being, you're sort of disrespecting archery by assuming that's all there is to it, maybe. That's what I'm saying as far as him cheating. He's essentially using his magical benefits. It'd be like, you know, in The Incredibles, how there's this whole dilemma about how Dash wants to be able to run his best in races, but if he actually does run his best, he'll always be cheating when he wins because he has super speed. Normal students that he's competing against wouldn't have super speed. It's that sort of dilemma, maybe. He doesn't think it's fair in normal competitions, or rather Dash wants to. It's the opposite. Shiro thinks it's not fair, so he doesn't want to abuse it. But Dash is a different type of character arc. But anyways, it's that whole thing about thinking, well, because I'm doing it magically, it's not fair for me to compare myself to others. Fujine disappears into the range. Mitsuzuri comes in as if to take her place. Yeah, I remember Ayako said something like enlightening that Shiro takes to heart, right? Tonight or something? Because that's like the through line. Then I'm like, this is a different through line. Are we in a different timeline? And that's when I kind of realized, had my realization.
邪魔するわよ。って難しい顔してんじゃん、エミヤ。
Excuse me. Oh, why the upset face, Emiya?
さては藤村先生に急を据えられたな。
I bet Fujimura-sensei scolded you, huh? Yeah, Shiro thinks it's unfair, but Taiga is being like, If you're good at something, just let yourself be good at it. It's not quite to the same extreme, Dash and Incredibles. So I think he should, to an extent, just let himself, be good at it. Even if the way he's good is different, that doesn't mean it's not archery. He doesn't have to be disrespecting archery to do it like that. Though I can understand Shiro's perspective in that case.
そうなるのかな。あんまりこだわるなって叱られた。あ、いやまあ、実にその通りなんだけどな。
I guess so. She told me not to worry so much. Well, she's totally right. Everyone has talents and advantages. Yeah, that's very fair. Not wanting to do something just because you're too good at it. I can see his reasoning that if it's magic that's making him too good at it, that's unfair. But you're training to be a superhero, and it's not even like you're very good at magic anyway. So use the one thing you're good at with magic to your advantage. I don't think that's unfair at all. Yeah, repressing is a disrespect to the act. It's also just, unhealthy. Let yourself be good at things.
あ、そうなんだ。てっきり興味をなくしてやめたと思ってたけど、まだやる気はあったんだ。それちょっと意外ね。
Oh, I see. I thought you quit because you didn't want to shoot anymore, but you still want to, huh? That's unexpected. Yeah. He doesn't dislike shooting, but he definitely, especially in Timeline 1, he doesn't think he's worth anything like that. He doesn't think he deserves to shoot. Because he thinks he's a dirty cheater. But it's not quite that. He does enjoy shooting, but he doesn't necessarily think he deserves to. And Shiro, again, being the smarticle Timeline 2 version, doesn't fight back against the idea. He admits, you know what, she's probably right.
意外？なんだ、三綴りには俺が弓に飽きたように見えてたのか？
It's unexpected. What, you thought I got bored with archery?
ねえ、だってあんた一回しか的を外さなかったじゃない。私が弓道部に入った時からエミヤはともかく化け物みたいにうまかった。
Yeah, you only
シャワー
missed
全部
the
綺麗でさ、怪獣以外知らないって顔してたものね。
target once. I really like Ayako's actress. I like the sound of her voice. I like Ayako's character. I think the voice is fitting. I also just like the sound of the voice. It's soothing. You only missed the target. I mean, I think a lot of the voices are fine and great, but I just felt like particularly pointing this one out because I like just hearing her speak in general. You only missed the target once. You were freaking good ever since I joined the archery club. Your form was really beautiful and you looked like you didn't know how to miss. I guess he missed because he was maybe frazzled by something off his game. He's still also good in archery. I think, if he was just magic, he wouldn't be that good. I think the magic definitely helps, but yeah, he's still generally good at archery for sure.
それでね、こいつこんなにうまいともう嬉しくもなんともないんだろうなって。っていうか、弓を持たなくても会心に入れるんだから、むしろ弓なんて邪魔じゃないってムカついたもんよ。
That's a very smart take. I thought you weren't happy about hitting the target because you're so good. You can get into the mentality without the mentality without the bow. So I was annoyed that the bow might be hindering you. The bow is hindering you. That's an interesting way to put it. Or maybe the target is hindering you. Maybe the fact that the range is so small. Like if the target was further away, he could have a more fair, will I hit or not type of thing. So maybe it's less the bow that's hindering him as it is the size of the range, the scope of what this archery club is meant to do. Dash, dash, dash.
図星でしょうね。射っていうのはさ、自分を射抜く精神でしょ。弓道の矢は的を射るんじゃなくて、的を狙う自身の心を射るのよ。
That's the mental gymnastics. Oh, did I get it right? I bet I did. Shooting is the mentality of shooting your mind, right? Shooting your mind. The arrow is not shot at the target, but shot at the mind of the shooter trying to hit the target. That's a funky way of putting it, but I get what you're saying, yeah. It's like, if your mind isn't in it, you'll miss. I kind of get it. You're shooting your mind. I mean, I get what she's saying. The idea that you have to have the right mental state. You can't be all flustered. Sort of like you're gun game online. You need to, you steady your mental state to make the bullet arrow. Bullet arrow? The bullet holes become more steady. Annoyed the bow might just be hindering you. Be the arrow. Yeah, kinda. Be the ball. You're not being the ball. Seen that so many times. It's been a while since the last time I've seen it, but I've definitely seen it at least like 10 times at this point. Shooting your mind. Mental fight. Is Shiro gonna learn to mental fight himself? Is he gonna find out what the super evil spirit inside of him? It's easier to learn to fight yourself once you've, resolved one of your deep inner struggles, which Shiro now has, so.
だから自身と向き合えないもの、自身を射抜けないものにその精神は伝わらない。
Very wise words. You won't understand the mentality if you can't face yourself. It's kind of wise words for life for most doing anything. I mean, archery, sure, because of what it's doing, but the one time he missed, he was probably frazzled in his mind. Archer in the first timeline said something similar to what Ayako's saying here. Yeah, that's true. You have to be able to beat yourself. If you can't beat yourself, you can't beat other people. Just shoot your mind. Okay. A revolver into his face. We're talking a little more metaphorical here. Maybe Timeline 1 should be that stupid. I mean, he is a Death Seeker, so I don't know if he really thinks that's the right way for it. But he needs his death to be meaningful, so I don't think he would do that. He's a meaningful Death Seeker. He's trying to find a meaningful death in Timeline 1. You understand the mentality if you can't face yourself. Very wise words for sure. Ayako, wise beyond her ears, saying something that some ancient spirit said. Makes sense. In other words, archery is a way to kill yourself. You might have enjoyed that in Timeline 1. Maybe because, though, you wanted the killing of yourself to be, more meaningful, you shied away from it in Timeline 1. You're like, I don't want to kill myself like this. But now you're more open because you're smart enough to know how to not kill yourself when doing archery? No. But, it's funny to think like that. It's trying to make yourself transparent. Right. And to become one with nature. Archery is a way to kill yourself. I mean, if he's thinking about that, if he knows about the, the archery idea of shooting yourself, he'd be like, oh no, I can't shoot myself. I have to die more meaningfully. It's trying to make yourself transparent and become one with nature. The 8 stages of shooting. That's right. Ashibumi, Dozukuri, Yugamae, Uchikoshi, Hikiwake, Kai, Hanare, and Zanshin exist for that purpose. Definitely more implying that become one with Earth part of the statement, yeah? Kai, the unity of the self and the target. Hanare, releasing the arrow which has become yourself, and the moment time stops. And Shiro's been good at stopping time recently, stopping time in the critical moments to analyze the situation. He's been good at seeing, being able to analyze the target before he shoots. He's been a little bit better about it. Maybe now he'll learn to control it to an extent. Zanshin, the self that is shot to the target already knows it will hit, and the action and the result become one to make the past and the future into a point. I think I remember saying when I was reading this first time that sounds like Lancer's Gabolg. You're confident, it hits, so it doesn't matter even if you miss, you still hit. I don't think Shiro can quite do that though, but sure. What I'm grasping here is archery is about basically being one with reality and helps with being better at shooting. I feel like that's true with long-range stuff in general, not just archery, but I guess archery is the most precise of the long-range stuff, so that's fair. The self that is shot to the target already knows it will hit. You have to be confident to know it will hit, but also hit in such a way that it does hit. You can't just cheat like Lancer does. It is only a way to train yourself according to set stages. Yes, archery is similar to meditation and magic.
ま、釈迦に説法だけどさ。弓道は矢を的中させることはおまけで、本当はそこに至る心構えを得るための道じゃない。術じゃなくて道なんだからさ。
That makes sense. It's like preaching to the Buddha. Hitting the target is like a bonus in archery. Yeah, it's about having the mental technique when you just shoot the arrow. The target is just something to aim at. Again, hitting it isn't really important. It's just having the right mental state. And if you don't, you won't hit. I can understand that totally. It's starting make a bit more sense? All you needed was my stream, Renegade. My stream, Renegade? I'm talking to myself now. All you needed was my stream, Wise. I'm Renegade. You just needed the Renegade stream. That's what I meant. For it to make sense. It all makes sense when you watch my stream. Because I'm so... What? Ego. It's like preaching to the Buddha. Hitting the target is a bonus. Archery is more a path to obtain the mentality. It's a path, not technique.
けど逆に言えば弓道ってのは弓がなければその境地にはたど
Put
り
it
着けない
another way, you can't reach that mentality without a bow and arrow. Yeah, Shiro's problem is that because of his magic, he's arguably doing it too easily and doesn't think he's really doing it properly, that maybe he's doing the technique wrong. But if that's the case, just have a further away target, so it's a more real test of your skills. I would argue. The answer isn't just walk away from it, but find a way to have a real test of your skills so that you can test that mentality if you are having an issue with it. And if you're not having an issue, then it'll be fine anyways, so why not find out? You know. You can't reach that mentality without a bow and arrow. Being too in tune with the earth and reality means he doesn't have any self-worth. I guess that's one way to put it. I think it's more that because of his magical powers, he doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, in tune. But, maybe he used it as a sort of escapism in the past if he was going along that line of being in tune with Earth, meaning he could escape his own self-worth. Maybe that was the idea behind Timeline 1, but then he thought it was too unhealthy or something, so he left it. And also Shinji got in the way for sure. But in Timeline 2, he's reanalyzing the ideas now that he's maybe in a healthier place. Maybe.
そのあたりエミヤには退屈だったんじゃないかって思ったのよね。私たちは矢を放ってそれが当たった時にあ、来たって錯覚できる。
That definitely
射は
sounds
手
about
段に
right.
過ぎないって分かっていても矢が当たったことでしか自分が綺麗になれたのかが分からない。
I thought that was the boring part for you. We shoot arrows and feel it when we hit the target. We know hitting the target is only a technique, but we can't tell if we succeed unless the arrow hits the mark. But Shiro always hits, yeah. That's why he was so persistent with his magic, even though he never made any progress. It allowed him to fully embrace the mindset of being, you know, one with Earth and not being himself, I guess. And also to make progress, you need some amount of confidence. But he has no confidence, so he just keeps going in circles. But it's like he's doing it. The fact that he's going in circles comes from the fact that he's doing it for the very fact that he wants to repress his own self-worth. But repressing your self-worth isn't quite the same thing. You still need to have a certain belief that it'll work, which comes with confidence, which he was lacking before.
けどエミヤ、あんたは矢の行方なんてどうでもいいタイプよ。
But you're the type that doesn't care where the arrow goes.
弓道において的中させるだけなら誰だってできるのよ。射法発節胴作りなんて面倒なことは簡略して当たる技術だけを突き詰めればとりあえず誰だって的には当てられる。
Anyone can hit the target in archery, disregarding some things like the 8 stages of shooting. Anyone can hit the target if they pursue the technique to hit the target. Yes, just going through the motions. Fair, fair. But that won't serve them well necessarily in real combat because, yeah, he doesn't care what the arrow goes. The progression. There's a nice, yeah, it's a nice analogy. The magic progression. But I agree with what she's saying to an extent, because if you do memorize the technique, you can figure out a way to always hit the target without necessarily getting better at archery. Because if you're in, like, you know, you might be able to hit that exact target by practicing a certain technique, memorizing it. But then when a real world situation comes out where you're fighting or something with, you know, bow and arrow, you won't be prepared to adjust to the circumstances because you only memorize the way to do the one thing. It's like memorization versus really learning. Yeah, you need to learn the proper mindset to, like, shoot on the fly as opposed to just memorizing the technique of that specific target. But if they pursue the target to the technique to hit the target, you're the type that doesn't care where the arrow goes because you don't see yourself having much of a future, or rather, you think your future is just to lift up other people, if anything. You don't think the arrow deserves to hit, but it hits anyways because you're a magical cheater.
けどそれは当てているだけ。本当の射は当たるのよ。弓を持つ人間がどんなに下手なやつでもね。
But they are only making the arrow hit the target with technique. Real shooting hits no matter how bad the shooter may be. Because it hits mentally? Is that what you mean? Even if you miss, mentally you're going in the right direction? It's the difference between rote memorization and actually learning to apply your knowledge. Yeah, exactly.
そんなことはないけどな。俺だって的を射抜くために射場に立つんだから。
I don't know, I go to the range so that I can hit the target.
だからそれよ。本当なら弓を持って射場に立つよりもっと手っ取り早い方法があるんじゃない？そもそも弓を持つなんてことがあんたには余分なのよ。
I see what she's saying, for sure. Even the worst shooter technique-wise, with the one with really mindset can shoot pretty well is what I think she's saying. Oh, you're bad at memorization, but you have the good mindset? Yeah, I can see that. Isn't there a faster way than getting a bow and going to the range? First of all, the bow and arrow are unnecessary. Yeah, if you're just planning to memorize how you hit the target, with his magical thing, with his cheating anyways, he can, like if he wants, he could just go up and punch the target. That way he'll always hit the target. If that's what he cares about, is just hitting that target. If he doesn't care about the actual technique of how it'll matter, yeah, you can just go up and punch the target. You don't need the bow and arrow, for sure. I can see that.
あんたさ、前に一度だけ外れを出したじゃない。その時、絶対に動揺してるだろうって見に行ったら、エミヤは今まで通りだった。
You missed a target once before, right? I went to see how surprised you'd look, but you were acting normally. Because he didn't care? He didn't care about hitting the target? He knows he'll always hit the target, but when he doesn't think he really deserves to hit the target anyway. He's extremely good at hitting the target, but he doesn't really care that he hits it. Because he's not really... he was more aimless, didn't really have a proper goal. He was just cheating with magic, so when he missed, it didn't really matter to him. Because all he was doing was just doing the easy way out anyway. So when he missed, it's like, well... I mean, it's not like this is me in a slump or anything. I'll just hit for sure next time anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's that it doesn't matter mentality that's the problem.
どうしてって聞いたら、いや、今のは外れるイメージだったから外したんだなんてしれっと言うんだもの。
I asked you why, and you said I missed because I imagined for it to miss. Maybe he was testing to see his magical prowess, like... will it miss if I'm... because maybe he always hits. He was seeing if there was something weird going on or if it would actually miss if he tried to miss. Couldn't he just not cheat? You're right, he could, and maybe that's what he's going to practice. I didn't grasp what the game is trying to say. Sure was using archery and this type of mindset as a type of escapism. For sure, yeah. Couldn't he just not cheat? That might be where the game is... I mean... It could be that him just using his talents, him accepting that he can use his talents is one thing, but also knowing the point of using the talents. Like what I said, if he wants to actually test using his talents, but with an actual mindset, he could just make the target further away. Or yeah, like depends on how innate the magicalness is for him. I think it seems pretty innate. Like without even thinking, he tends to have this really crazy vision at times. So I think he might not even realize he's doing it necessarily. So it might be hard to turn it off. But even if he can turn it off, he never chooses to. He just lets it happen. So he just lets it happen because he thinks, I don't know, like, that's good water. He lets it happen because it doesn't matter. There's no reason to aim to hit it properly. Because, yeah, directionless, like you're saying. No real purpose. Vague goal. Well, I'm supposed to hit that target, right? I can hit that target. Instead of training towards the mental state to properly hit the target. Because he doesn't even necessarily want the proper mental state because so much is fucked up with him. Especially in Timeline 1. So, I would think that's kind of the idea. Like, he's got these goals of being a superhero and stuff, and, hitting the target or whatever is sort of just a metaphor for, sure, I can hit the target every time, but he's not really hitting it properly. He's not going anywhere. The fact that he can hit it by cheating doesn't matter, but he doesn't really care to do it properly because he's afraid of progressing forward. Because he's afraid of finding out that maybe, you know, that's not where he really wants to go, or afraid of the commitment, afraid of hard truths. Maybe in the Grail War, he can get that strict goal and path. So being one with reality mindset can be focused rather than just being all over the place. Yeah, there's more of a reason now, not just because he's in Timeline 2, because the Grail War is something he has to focus on, for sure.
結果として外れたんじゃなくて、あんたは自分の意思で外したんでしょ。
It didn't miss as a result, but you made it miss with your own will.
それで思ったのよ。こいつはいつも的に矢が刺さっている映像を見て、その後に指を離していたんだなって。
That's when I thought you were always imagining the arrow striking the target before you release it.
何言ってんだ。そんなの基本だろ。三つ釣りだって矢が当たるところを想像してその通りに指を離すんじゃないのか？
What are you saying? That's just basics, right? Don't you imagine the arrow hitting the target and releasing it accordingly?
当然よ。誰だってね、こうなったらいいな、こうなりたいなっていろいろあるでしょ。けどそれは想像よ。エミヤみたいに見れてるわけじゃない。
Of course, people try different things wishing for a good result, but it's only in our imagination. We can't see it like you do, Emiya. That natural instinct. She might not know it's magic, but she knows it's there. And that's the whole point. Like, if I really wanted to learn, I could just go up and punch the target if that's all I was going to do is hit the target because it's that easy for me. It's too easy. If I wanted a real challenge, set the target further away. Or turn off the magic if I can. If I can't, set the target further away.
それって自然と一体化してるってことだ。武道でいうところの無の境地だろ。
It means you're one with nature. You've reached nothingness to put it in martial arts terms. I suppose that's fair. Reach nothingness when he should be trying for something? Or he should want to be something? Possibly. Reached nothingness. And is nothingness not the goal in this case? Because you are supposed to be one with nature, but still have a goal when you do it? That seems slightly conflicting, but I get it, I think. I don't know if I'm really seeing, but I can nod back to the nothingness part. Oh, you can nod back to the nothingness part. Yeah, you realize. I think you can turn the magic assistance off at this point. I don't either. His mindset is already like this. To turn it off requires him to change his whole personality. Very fair. The magic just seems very innate for him. He just lets it happen. He doesn't seem a reason to let it not happen. Until now, maybe. It is the strength of a magus to erase oneself to make the self into a circuit. Maybe the problem is you're making a wrong relation. Making the self transparent and ridding oneself of attachments and wishes to only obtain the result. The training of archery and magic are similar in regards to making the self into nothing. But even if you have to make yourself into nothing to do it, that's why you're so good at it, maybe. You're already just such a nothing person until now and having a goal, I suppose. That's fair. Are similar in regards to but just because you can make yourself into nothing doesn't mean you shouldn't have a goal. Because if you have a goal, then you can actually have a real direction. I suppose. I'm starting to confuse myself a little bit now, but I'll roll with it.
難しい話だな。で、結局何が言いたかったんだ？三つ釣りは。
That's difficult. So what do you want to tell me?
エミヤは無欲だから透けやすいってこと。もっと強欲で自己中でわ
Yes.
がままになれ。
Exactly.
若いうちから達人になってもつまんないでしょ。神事を見習えとまでは言わないけど、少しは楽しいことでもやったら？
Ah, yes. Ayako saying the real truths. Also dropping a master tidbit, even though that's not what she means. I know what she means, but it's just that it's easy for you to turn transparent because you're unselfish. You should be more selfish and greedy. It's boring to become a master at such a young age, right? I won't tell you to be like Shinji, but why don't you have some fun once in a while? Be more greedy. Nice. Something Shiro needs to hear for sure. Shiro's problem that he has no real clear results he wants to obtain. Yeah, he can get the result of hitting the target easily, but it doesn't matter to him. So, Shiro being hardy is a pretty good thing for his mental health and character. At least that's something for him to want. He can want that, he can want that booty. Aiko's such a big character. She's my favorite character. She actually can cut through the couth of Shiro's bullshit. I like it a lot. That's why they had to keep her out of Timeline 1. She's too good at cutting to the truth of the bullshit. Too much bullshit. It's better here when Shiro still has bullshit, but less bullshit. Dash, dash, dash. I'm at a loss for words. I think that's not true, but I can't think of anything that's fun for me. Mm-hmm.
ほらね、そんなんだからさくらを苦労させてんのよ。若いうちに羽目を外しておかないと、年取ってから外し方がわからなくなる。
Look at Timeline 1, he changed into wanting nothing, and oh, fucking Saber, yes! It's true, and that's what allowed him to move on when he had to let go of something he wants. Yeah, that's fair. He also sort of wanted to go back in time to an extent, so... There was a single drop of water in the glass, and I just barely got it out. Yes. See, that's why you're troubling Sakura so much. That's true. Sakura wants you to be able to maybe enjoy archery. If you come back to archery, that should show you enjoy it more. You're willing to deal with Shinji's BS because you enjoy archery so much, in the theory. So Sakura would be happy that you actually enjoy something. You have to know how to have fun now, or you won't be able to when you get old. Very good advice. Which he might actually be willing to take to heart now that he's past the super selflessness of the Timeline 1.
そういうの、世間では解消なしっていうのよ。
People call those kinds of people good for nothings, you know.
参ったな。同級生に老後の心配をされるほど深刻だったか。なんだってそこまで俺に構うんだよ、お前は。
Has it become so bad that a classmate is worrying about when I get old? Why are you so worried about me? Because you're friends, but also she probably has definitely a romantic interest. And I do think she's backing off because she's a shipper for Sakura, I think. But I think there's interest is there.
だってエミヤ、笑わないでしょ。
But also they're, you know, just pretty good friends. You don't laugh, Emiya. Oh, she's so good at cutting to the truth. Huh?
だからずいぶん前の合宿の話、みんなで騒いでた時さ、エミヤだけ私のとっておきのネタでも笑わなかった。
You don't know. Maybe I was feeling nervous because you're so hot, and I was thinking about how hot you are, and I didn't want to laugh because I was feeling nervous. You don't know. Shut up.
I'm talking about the training camp we had before. We were all laughing, but you didn't laugh even at my best jokes. Yeah, I definitely don't remember Shiro laughing much at all, for sure.
それはつまり。
So, in summary...
それをまだ根に持ってるってわけなのよ、これが。
Yep, still holding a grudge from that time. Next time you gotta laugh at my jokes. So we're gonna hang out more. Definitely a stronger relationship vibe in this one. I like it. I like Ayako. She declares as if she's smiling to a rival. A rival that you need to get to laugh at her jokes. Different type of rival than with Rin, for sure, but that's fun. Alright. Okay, hold on, wait. You hear music, right? The thing didn't happen again? The club ends when the sun starts setting. I gotta make sure now. This has made me paranoid. Because I don't know, right? What if everything got all fucky-wucky? I would hope not, but music is still there. Alright, cool. Club ends when the sun starts setting. Uh-huh. That's not the button I wanted. Man, that archery talk. So good with the Ayako talk. Thought we might get a bit further today, but like, oh, I just want to analyze the Ayako talk because I like Ayako and I like Shiro and his It's just because I know that that archery thing is going somewhere now, because I know it's going to be like a through line which she thinks back to later on, so it made me really want to reanalyze, but it was a bit confusing, but I get the idea. For sure I get the idea. The club ends when the sun starts setting. I'm going to make a save here. I have to pee anyways, so I think it would be good to stop here. I could go like 10 more minutes, but I have to pee. Blame my internet, blame the music going out, because that delayed me a bit, right? Oh, sure, that's the excuse. That archery talk. We'll be out of it tomorrow for sure, because, you know, tomorrow can go longer. That archery talk. That archery talk is very interesting to me. That's why I spent so much time on it, really. And I guess we would have missed it if we had went somewhere else. But it seems to be setting up a through line, so I don't know. We might have still roundabout gotten to see it anyway. Because that Aiko talk seems to be important for later when Shiro thinks back to it. So, but then again, maybe multiple through lines are possible. Maybe. Things to think about later on when we go back and load up old choices. But for now, we press onward. And by for now, I mean tomorrow. Because I am done for now. I'll see you guys next time. Still an outro phrase for the YouTube video. It's over, I guess. Stop recording. Bye-bye. Boo-boo-boo-boo-doo.